It was the Sunday night.
It was the Saturday morning it started.
The last Saturday morning in October, early.
It was only reported on the Monday.
About 5 on the Monday. It was days before anyone really did anything. And she was found in...
I don't know.
Was she?
I don't know.
Found, I mean.
I didn't hear anything after the police spoke to me on the Wednesday.
It was Tuesday.
Thursday.
It was about a week.
October.
Halloween.
Really cold.
6 days?
7 days.
A whole week she was gone.
So you saw her leaving?
Yeah, I did. It was really early. She seemed alright, like packing the car. And it was freezing. She was dressed up, like lipstick and everything, at like 4:30 in the morning. I was up with my back, walking in the front. I do that. I mean, it's keeping me up. What's the point of just laying there staring at the fucking ceiling? Do you know what I mean? I don't mind the cold so much, so... We don't really speak much around here, but it was fucking odd. Me just wandering around in the freezing fucking cold at that time in the night. Hair stuck up, so I nodded and said, "Off on your holidays?" She had a suitcase and stuff. And like I say, she was done up. Like, some people get dressed up to go to the airport. Do you know what I mean? I noticed her dog in the back seat. Said she was going off on a trip somewhere she hadn't been in years. "Lucky you, have a good time," I said. And she just said, "I will," jumped in the car and drove off like a fucking maniac. I mean, as much as you can in an old battered tin can like that. You go, girl, I thought. I wish I could just take off like that in the middle of the night. I was well surprised. She did always seem quite mumsy to me. Do you know what I mean?
I was supposed to be meeting Helen for a coffee at Maggie's Cafe on the Saturday. She'd usually walk Cassie to her Ison and then meet me there. Then get back for George's lunch by 1:30. It wasn't like her to just not to turn up. Had quite a strict routine. But she hadn't been right in a week. Well, for a while really. So when I got no answer from text, I just left it a bit.
I got a message the week before. Do you remember when we went on holiday to Wales as kids and we weren't allowed to go on that tram ride? She'd been sending me messages out of the blue. Been digging through our boxes, having a clear out. I didn't remember the tram thing. I thought maybe I wasn't there.
Then she wasn't on shift again on Monday, and I thought she must be in bed. She didn't phone in though. Now that's really not like her at all. I was calling her, texting her, Facebook. Not that she really knows how to use Facebook, but you know, just reaching out. I was worried she'd lose her job. She had to have a few months, had a few chances. Anyway, I went to the flat. No answer. So I called the police.
George was, always has been a bit.
She was a bit of a loner.
Wasn't always like that.
Became a downer.
Got totally shamed.
She didn't come back to school after year 9.
Wasn't always like that.
Loser friend.
She was so cool.
Really clever.
George was lost. This is the thing you need to know. Lost. And it could have gone either way for both of them.
They didn't get on really. They weren't close anymore.
They had been.
Mothers and daughters drift apart when they get to that age, don't they?
So Helen and George's relationship was difficult before this?
Helen has always doted on George. George never left her bedroom, the only bedroom in the flat, Helen's bed was in the living room. That's why she didn't like people going around there. They didn't talk for over a year. There was very little words spoken between them. I know it's not strange for parents and teenagers not to get on, but this was more than that. George would ignore her completely. Not aggressive, just blank.
Helen got Cassie for George. Didn't help. Had always wanted a dog. Nothing. But had no problem when it came to eating the food that Helen bought, the meals she cooked, using the electricity she paid for, the heating, the roof over their heads. It was a dreadful time.
You taught George, but she left early?
When George never came back to school, it was a battle, but in the end it was too late. George was 16 by then anyway, so I had to drop it. Headmaster would no longer pursue it. I always liked George. He was quiet, but had a confidence. Great potential.
I know George as Underground Gigi. She was above me at school. Online, you could be hanging out all day sometimes, doing what you want to do. People like watching Underground Gigi play. That's how good Gigi is. You can make some big money. You can online. It is the now. It is the future. But there's no way I could leave school and do that. My mum would literally kill me. Fuck off, Seven. I'm doing this thing. Ugh.
So you were talking about being friends with George online?
People always moan about us, my generation, on computers. You're not normal. But what the fuck is normal? I don't want to be normal, so I take you're not normal as a compliment. Thank you very fucking much.
When did you feel Helen and George beginning to change?
It was when Dave, that's Helen's husband, George's dad, just left and everything went wrong. You don't make me happy. Like, that's relevant. Your father, you stick with it. They were a happy unit. Nice house right next door. They both go to works. Same problems as everyone, but they were okay. So it was a huge shock when he left. He basically just wanted to have some excitement, so he just vanished. No warning, no signs. And Helen's nice, she's lovely and kind and generous. But she's not bloody soft. None of us saw it coming. George had her mom wrapped around her little finger after that. Developed a ridiculous routine to suit George that they would not shift from. I mean a schedule. They moved into a block of flats and I don't think George ever came out of that room. Well, only to take a shit and the odd shower and to drop plates outside the bedroom door so Helen could clean them up and their routine could start all over again the next day.
I was obviously missing something. I mean, I'm a brother. A lot of things. We don't live near each other anymore, but still, we don't ask the right questions, do we? Or answer them right. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, that's hopeless, isn't it? I've never been good at all that stuff, staying in touch. But it really makes you think.
George isn't right.
George is odd.
A nerd.
A geek. She didn't come back to school after year 9.
Always online. Always in the background. Every time I log on there,
I see underground Gigi. That girl has commitment.
Never left the bedroom.
Like most teenagers.
Never.
Never.
Never. For like a whole year.
Just a typical teenager. Leave me alone. That kind of thing.
We hear all kinds of horror stories. Mental health problems, depression, teenagers cutting themselves, hanging themselves. Parents worry. As teachers, we, of course, we worry. I understand the concern. We deal with this stuff all the time now. I always had a trust that George would be okay in the end. She'd pull through. She'd make it.
Helen didn't talk about it a lot, but I knew it was killing her. It would kill me. Not to really know my kids when I grow up. I mean, I know you can never really know them, but to not even have any relationship. Not even one when you throw things at each other. She thought George would come round. Teenagers do. Come right. Thought that George would grow out of it.
George didn't come round or come right or grow out of it. George would have never grown out of it. Didn't want to grow out of it. George was forced out of it.
Helen came to your pub on that Saturday. She arrived in Llandudno.
Well, we hadn't opened yet, but I goes, just let her in, Jeffrey. Just let her use the toilet, for God's sake. She was banging on the door, obviously desperate. I could hear her. I'm a woman of a certain age, she was hollering. And I get that. And he wouldn't get that. He's no understanding of the female form. He would say that I do because I'm surrounded by them constantly. And I'd say, yes, I am surrounded because I'm blessed and approachable, Jeffrey. Anyway, I digress. So Jeffrey opens the door, reluctantly. She comes flying in. She's red in the face. Flushed. Been driving for ages. Doesn't stop saying sorry and thank you. Had a dog with her. Lovely little thing called Cassie. Hell of a barker. I gave the dog a bowl while she used the toilet. When she come out, she changed her clothes. Fully changed. Jeffrey didn't notice, of course. I think it's because she was sweating. Dripping. I think it's the change, hot flashes. Later on, Jeffrey found her phone in the toilet. Actually in the bottom of the toilet, submerged in the blue water toilet duck. We had to fish it out. Dried it out, thinking that she'd be back for it. I said at the time, if she's done it on purpose, she won't be back. You don't do that by accident and not know, do you? Not when you're sober, anyway. And it turns out I was right, innit?
She hadn't booked, and the sea's not that busy, so it's fine. Had a dog with her.
We don't mind a dog.
As long as it's not jumping on the bed. She parks outside, which is fine. Paid up front for 6 nights.
We're all squared away.
Stays a Saturday. Comes down for breakfast Sunday morning, boiled eggs. Doesn't want her room cleaned. Stays in her room all day. Took the dog out for toilet time, thankfully. Stays a Sunday, comes down for breakfast Monday morning, eggs again. Doesn't want her room cleaned.
Fine by me.
Doesn't come out. But the bloody barking didn't stop. Took the dog out for a walk eventually. She looked like she'd been crying, didn't she? I said, didn't I, Tony?
Yeah.
Big red eyes. Anyway, stays that night. Now, on the next morning, she asked for breakfast to take away.
Boiled eggs to take away with a round of bread.
What the guest wants, the guest gets. Dog, rucksack, boiled eggs. Off they go for the next floor. Must be feeling better, I said. Do you remember, Tony?
Yeah, I remember.
It was on my 21st birthday and we were already drinking Prosecco. We were just about to close and she opened the door. Just stood there with her dog, not sure if she'd come in. It was pouring down and they were dripping wet. The little dog was shivering, wrapped her in a towel. The lady wanted to buy a red Mac. Now it absolutely had to be red. She'd been looking all day and couldn't find what she wanted. And by now she really needed it. We laughed about that. She asked me to put her old coat into the bin. Just needed drying out, but she said she had to let go of the past, so throw it away. We had a rail full, so she looked through. Anyway, there was nothing she liked. So Sarah had a look in the back. And would you believe it? Destiny! There was one! A red Mac. Perfect color, perfect fit. I couldn't believe it. I tell you, I wouldn't be seen dead wearing something like that, but this was made for you, I said. And she bought it. Cash. No hesitation. I asked her where she was going. She said she had all the plans in the world, just couldn't remember them. We laughed about that.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
I will tell you a secret. I didn't throw the coat away. I took it home, washed it, and gave it to my flatmate. I didn't think the lady would mind.
So, that's a Tuesday, no sign of her all day. I usually stay on the front desk till about 9 or 10 in the evening, and she didn't come back. No breakfast the next day, takeaway or otherwise. Later I noticed her car was gone. She was supposed to be staying till Halloween, which is a Thursday, but didn't see her again. Tried a contact number, nothing.
Not a peep.
She came in twice. Not unusual, we're a good restaurant to be fair, but twice on the same night. Ordered twice, ate twice. I'm talking a lot of food, like 2 full meals. I mean, she wasn't fat or nothing. And she didn't look like a pig or nothing, you know what I'm saying. I thought she was waiting for someone, like a date. She was dressed up a bit, you know. I thought she was likely pissed, but she didn't touch a drop in air. Second time she came in, she got really aggravated. Not horrible, just, I don't know, like stressed and upset. Seemed like a nice woman and all that. My manager, who, I'm not gonna lie, is a genuine prick, wanted to get her out. I wasn't gonna do it, because as I say, and I don't mind repeating it, the man's a class A prick, and I felt for her, you know, so I'm not kicking her out onto the street in a state. I'm stood at a table, and she says she didn't know why she come here. I don't know why I'm here. I didn't know whether she meant the restaurant or the town or this earth, to be honest. I mean, we all have our moments, don't we? I asked if I could call someone. She said no. She just kept saying sorry. Sorry. Just felt she needed to eat. Was a bit left and wanted a doggy bag, so I wrapped it up for her and left her for a bit. She just sat quietly. Seemed to calm down. Next minute, I turn around and she's gone. I left 20 quid on the table, which didn't quite cover it. Prick was fuming, of course. And she just disappeared. I thought about calling the police, but after my shift I was shattered and you get all sorts in and you just don't, do you? It did stay with me though. And later when I saw that story I thought, oh fuck. That was her.
Helen was in her car outside of your church?
I knocked on her window. Her head was on the steering wheel, and the dog started barking. I called Shirley, my pianist, over, as I was worried what was happening, and I'm not very good with dogs. She thought she was dead. Shirley likes a touch of the dramatic. It helps in the amateur theatre. Anyway, She seemed in need, so I asked her to wind her window down. She'd fallen asleep, certainly been there for a while. She looked like she could do with a coffee, so I invited her in. We were gathering for a Wednesday morning choir practice. We do 3 hours on Wednesday morning, Friday evening, it now every third Sunday of the month. We're applying for Britain's Got Talent this year. She accepted her invitation. Her dog Cassie came too, wouldn't leave her side. They had travelled from London. Helen said she had to organise the thoughts. She said she'd been thinking a lot about her mother and father, whom she lost years ago, weeks apart. She needed to organise the thoughts, the photographs. And she had that overwhelming urge to get to Llandudno. A calling, I told her. She said, I just want to get to the tram, to the sea, and back to me. I thought that was poetic. Shirley said worrying. She stayed for a while, listening, then just slipped out while we were singing. I felt uneasy. I couldn't stop thinking about the stranger who had stranded on our doorsteps on a cold Wednesday morning in October. Could we have done more? That is my duty after all.
Thanks for talking to us.
We're a pretty good choir. I think we have a good chance. Make sure to tune in and vote. Preferably for us.
So Helen's friends felt they should call the police on the Monday. Is that right?
I took the call. It was the friend of a woman who was worried as she hadn't heard from her for a few days and she hadn't shown up to work. Helen Richards, 44. That her daughter was vulnerable. Could we check on everything? She'd been round and no one was answering the door. I asked how long. She hadn't seen or heard from her since Friday. How old is the child? George is 16. I don't want to waste your time, she said. You're not, I said. She really wasn't.
We go in on Monday, late afternoon. Doesn't say much, but knows when Helen is there and not there. Would she go anywhere? No. We ascertained that she hadn't cooked her lunch or her tea that Saturday. Same on the Sunday. And this was a break from their routine, which meant she'd been gone well over 48 hours. Can we come in?
I saw her.
I saw her.
We saw her.
I saw her. A red coat.
A rucksack.
Boots.
Not the most sensible for the terrain in this weather.
Poor little dog with her.
Hiking up the hill.
I stopped, asked if they wanted a lift.
Walking in the rain.
She listened for a while, then left.
Pouring down. She asked me the way.
I think she was praying.
Bought a whole box. Miniature trams.
She was crying.
Was soaked through.
Lit 3 candles.
Didn't seem to know where she was heading.
I saw her.
I saw her.
He saw her.
Looking for a red coat.
Really wanted a red mark.
Red.
Red. How do I get there?
Not the best day for it, I told her.
We pretended not to see.
We pretended not to see.
Pretended not to notice.
Asked if she could use my phone.
The dog was barking.
But she couldn't remember the number.
I saw her.
I saw her.
I saw her.
He saw her.
I saw her.
We saw her.
Didn't think anything of it until I saw her on the news.
I saw it on the local news.
Missing.
Missing. Later, when I saw that story, I thought, oh fuck, that was her.
When we went in, we asked to look around. Dog bowl and basket, but no sign of the dog. Has she taken the dog? I asked. Yes, she said. The place was sparse, tidy, but there was a bed in the living room and there were a lot of cardboard boxes stacked. Are you moving? I asked. In, she said. Recently moved in then? I asked. 13 months and 3 days, she said. And they still hadn't unpacked. There was a photograph on the table taken out of its frame. I asked her, did you do this? She said no. It was hard to get anything out of her, but didn't think she was hiding anything particularly. Nothing suspicious. Is it significant? I asked. Does it mean something, this photo?
What made you think it was significant?
Everything else seems so impersonal. It's Uncle Jimmy and Helen, she said. This one's your mum? I asked. She nodded. I turned over the photo and there was writing on the back. The Great Orme, family holiday, 1989. My supporting officer said that was in North Wales, Llandudno. George had never been and wasn't sure if her mum knew anyone there. Okay. I asked if her mum liked Wales and she just shrugged again. It was the only lead we had, so we spread the misper out to Llandudno police.
Lee, thanks for letting us into your room. We were told you were trying to rob her car.
Technically, we weren't robbing anything. We didn't break in. We didn't have to. Doors were pretty open. So what's the problem? It was well bad. Someone crashed it. Dumped it. It's a bit of a wreck. Would have driven it if we could get it going. Couldn't though. I can drive. Dad taught me. Don't tell my mum. If my mum knew she'd kill me and him. You don't live with us no more. We just had some cider in there. Well, I did. My sister wouldn't because she's a bloody baby. We had a little party in there. Had some mates coming up. And someone pulled up and called the cops on us. We got taken home. Mum went absolutely mental. Look, I can show you on my phone. Pictures. Proof. It was an abandoned vehicle. Not stolen.
Okay, thank you.
Coat on. First time in 13 months and 6 days. Have to get Helen. Down the stairs. Not taking the lift. Doesn't work anyway. Stairs. 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 Oh, I feel sick. Breathe. Can't be without Helen. Open the main door. Freezing. Go back up. Go back up. Door slams. No keys. Walk. Just walk. Earphones. Walk. Helen and Cassie. Keep walking. I never thought I'd miss you half as much as I do. 3 hours, 51 minutes. High Street. Just get on the train. It's 3 hours, 51 minutes, one change. One change at Crewe. London Lewisham to Llandudno.
Tonight there is a search for the missing single mother Helen Richards. Helen, 44, from Lewisham, London, has been missing for 6 days and is believed to be in Llandudno with her dog, a terrier Cassie. Her car was found abandoned last night near the Great Orme Country Park. Local volunteers and family and friends who have travelled to the area to help find them are out on foot searching the area this evening. Helen and the dog were last spotted in the area walking in the rain. She is said to be wearing a red coat and a rucksack and is said to be in a very distressed state. Fears are growing for her safety, so if you have any information, please do get in touch with Llandudno Police.
We were called at 7:30 and told by the police that a woman could be on the beach at Llandudno. They retrieved her abandoned car and did a search of an area of the Great Orme Country Park. All the sightings suggested that she was on the beach. The police helicopter couldn't get there because the weather was so bad that night. We used our heat-seeking equipment and spotted the woman's dog first of all, and then we saw her. She was just sitting down by the side of the rocks as if she was hiding under them. We were able to fly quite low. I was winched down as I'm a paramedic. She was disorientated, but relieved I was there, threw her arms around me. She kept saying she'd just gone there for a sit-down.
A sit-down?
A sit-down?
A breakdown. That's what I'd call it.
I was reassuring her and telling her a lot of people were worried about her after she'd gone missing and that she'd not been answering her phone for the last few days. She kept saying sorry.
You don't go out there at that time of night in October. You just don't do it. Sat there under a rock, under a bloody rock. It's awful.
She was cold. As I say, she was very disorientated, confused. She'd been there a long while, had taken her shoes off, couldn't find them. Her feet were pretty cut up. The dog, Cassie, was scared by the sight and sound of the helicopter, but still wouldn't leave her. It was keeping her warm. I believe that's what kept her alive, having Cassie's warmth next to her. Such a little hero. Once we were in the air, it only took us around 10 minutes to get her to the hospital in Bangor, and they took care of her from there.
As we were receiving her, taking her into the hospital, there was a lot going on, of course. Information's flying around, lots of people around. But I stopped for a minute, because her daughter was stood there with the dog, looking lost, and she obviously wanted to say something. She'd followed on in a police car. She asks the patient, her mother, Helen, if she wanted to jump. She actually said, which is why I'll never forget it, the way she phrased it. Was it your intention to jump, Helen? I mean, it's a lot, innit, for a young girl to take on. I think she were in shock. Well, you would be, wouldn't you?
She was just hours from death when they found her. She drove all the way from Lewisham to Llandudno, dumped her car and nearly died under a rock with her poor little dog go. I mean, that's no way to go, is there?
Thanks for coming to talk to us, George. How's your mum?
She's better.
So if you just get comfy, we'll ask some questions. Okay. So, Jimmy, that photograph in Llandudno was taken a long time ago?
This photograph? The Great Orme Family Holiday, 1989. Both of us there at the tramway in red coats. I hated that. Having to wear the same colour as my older sister. I saw that photo and it all came flooding back. We'd waited till the end of the holiday to do it. Helen couldn't wait. Wouldn't stop going on about it. Save the best bit for last, Dad kept saying. Save the best bit for last. And Helen was so excited. We'd have boiled eggs and soldiers every morning. We'd see the tram every day, eat chips, ice cream, though it really wasn't warm enough. End of the season, Halloween, we trick-or-treated around the caravan site. It was the last day of the holiday and we went to get our tickets. We waited. The man came out and told a group of us they were having a little trouble. It had broken down, but it should be fixed in a little while. Well, it wasn't. Helen was heartbroken. Mum bought her a little miniature tram from the souvenir shop. More chips. We'll come back next year, Dad said, and Mum agreed. We never did.
What do you think happened to your mum?
She got very sad.
And you said it started for you when your dad left?
I was scared to say the wrong thing.
Why?
In case Helen left too, I guess. She told me to go to my room. So I did.
And you stayed there a long time.
13 months and 6 days.
And since Llandudno, have you gone back to staying in your room? Will it be hard to leave?
No. It's not going to be hard for me to leave again. I just needed a reason.
And the reason was?
Helen. My mum needed me.
I may go out on the road to find things I can leave behind, or find some peace of mind, but I will do it alone. I may be scared to the bone. There's things I must do on my own, and I'll find my way back home. It's time to fly and say goodbye. I don't know where we've been, but I'll find my home again. You'll be doing your thing and I'll be home when you're gone. We'll take turns spreading our wings. The road goes on and on and on, so don't wait for me. We'll be home. Don't wait for me. It's time to fly, fly, fly and say goodbye, bye, bye. I don't know where we've been, but I found my home again. You'll be doing your thing and I'll be home when you're gone. We'll take turns spreading our wings. The road goes on and on and on, so don't wait for me. We'll be home. Don't wait for me. We'll be home. I'll be home. You'll be home. we'll be home